Honestly, have you watched my practice makes perfect video? If you haven't, go ahead, it's up in the cards, and then come back here to me and watch this video. Hello friends, welcome to my channel if you're new here, welcome back if you're a returning subscriber. My name is Brittany. On this channel, I share my stupid opinions about the books I've been reading. Today's book is none other than Book of the Year Lolly Award winner, Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. Before we get into the synopsis, let's talk about ratings on Goodreads and the storygraph and move forward from there. So, averaging 4.33 on Goodreads with 231,000-ish ratings and 4.35 on the storygraph. Pretty good, right? There are going to be some content warnings, so they are popped up right here as always. And here is my synopsis paraphrased from Goodreads so that I don't spoil anything. Brianna Ortiz's life is seriously flatlining. Her divorce is about to be finalized. Her little brother is running out of time to find a kidney donor, and the promotion that she wants at work is probably going to the new man doctor in the ER that she works at. But just as all systems are set to hate, Dr. Jacob Maddox completely flips the script by sending Brianna a letter. And it's a really good letter, proving that Jacob isn't actually Satan himself. Even worse, he might actually be a really funny and likable guy who's just horrible at first impression. Now, he and Brie are exchanging letters, sharing lunch dates in her sob closet, and discussing every obscure would-you-rather situation possible. But when Jacob decides to give Brie the best gift imaginable, a kidney for her brother, she wonders just how she can resist this quietly sexy new doctor, especially when he calls in a favor she can't refuse. What I'm learning about myself as I branch out into the romance genre is I really fucking love fake dating, and this one is a really good fake dating book. So let's talk about it. One thing that I'm going to say about characters is that the romance genre in and of itself continues to surprise me with shockingly lovable and realistic characters, and I did not expect to come into this immediately loving Brie and Jacob, but oh my god, Miss Jimenez, you've done it. Brianna Ortiz is the very definition of an independent woman, and I loved it. She is hard-headed, funny, kind. I didn't really find myself relating to her as much as I found myself relating to other female characters in romance books, but it's totally fine because I still loved her. What I did find in this book is that Jacob Maddox is me. Socially awkward to the point of coming off as rude, but kind-hearted and selfless, and he is like the absolute very definition of cinnamon roll. If you read romance, you know what I'm talking about. From the first POV of his in this book, I was immediately like, I love this man. He's wonderful. I got him in the same way that I got Poppy from People We Meet on Vacation, in the same way I've clicked with so many other romance characters, majority of which have been female. I got Jacob. Like, he was wonderful. It was so nice to see a book where the female character is not really struggling with anxiety, and to kind of flip it on its head and be like, no, here's this male character who struggles with anxiety. And I thought that Abby did a really great job handling Jacob's anxiety with care. I also very much enjoyed the side characters in this book. I thought that Xander was great and is so funny. Benny was great. I love the entire Maddox family, and I'm like, genuinely, if you're watching this, Miss Jimenez, can you please give me Gwen and Joel's love story, please? I desperately need it. It's really hard for me to be invested in side characters, but I genuinely found myself caring what Jacob's mother, Joy, thought in this book. And like, that's not something that I normally care about. I also really want to go back and read Part of Your World, which I know covers Alexis and Daniel, because I liked their characters so much too. I gave the characters 9 out of 10. Y'all, I never thought that I would like a book that was set largely in a hospital, but here we are. I think that like the picture was so clear in my head because I borrowed the audiobook also, so we have a double dork. The narration from the female narrator and the male narrator, it was just very immersive. They were excellent. Like, they didn't just read me the story, they acted this thing out. Really having the two different narrators for the two different POVs does something for the atmosphere for me. I gave it a 10. I've never read Abby Jimenez before. This is my first time reading an Abby Jimenez Jimenez book, and I will say, her writing and I get along so well. I was laughing, I was crying, I was having the time of my life. This book was what my heart needed, and I am going to be picking up more of her books because I just, oh, I love it. I love discovering new authors so much, and I truly get why this won the Lolly. And I feel like that's saying something because I read a lot of good books in 2023. So I totally get it. And honestly, what a wonderful win for romance, for this to be the first romance book in the history of Book of the Month to win the Lolly. I don't know what else to say. I thought that the conversations that Bree and Jacob were having were just so realistic, and I loved everything about her writing. Writing's a 10. Writing's a 10. Genuinely, I think fake dating might be the trope for me. I don't know what it is. Here I am, once again, rating a plot with fake dating super highly. Here we go. We start right off with Bree hating Jacob, and then slowly their friendship begins to develop after he walks in on her in the sob closet crying over Benny's deteriorating medical condition. His kindness is like in that moment abundantly clear, so they like extend olive branches to each other and work on building their friendship. Just Jacob was such an endearing character to me. His anxiety is central to the plot, and the way that Bree handles him with such care just was everything to me. The tension in this book was built like brick by brick, and I loved that too. It was so good. I gave the plot a 10. The hold for the audiobook. As soon as it came through, I was on it. I blazed through the book. I read this in one day. Spent my whole Saturday reading it, but was it worth it? Yes. Yes, it was. I kept thinking about it even after I finished it, and if I'm 100% honest with you, I am still sitting here thinking about Bree and Jacob. 10 out of 10. Logic. Once again, we're going to go into this, and I'm going to try not to spoil things for you. Miscommunication is ever present in the romance genre. This one's no exception. I'm not going to complain about that. Miscommunication is a concept in like 80% of the romances that I've read. The miscommunication in this one covers about 80% of the book. I understand that it's not something that we feel needs to be done in the romance genre, but as someone who has trauma and severe and crippling anxiety, I get it. I get why Jacob had a hard time communicating his feelings, and I get why Bree had a hard time communicating her feelings. Do I wish that they'd just said what they meant? Yes, but I get it. I understand from the perspectives of both of these characters why the miscommunication happened. So I give the logic a 9 out of 10. I had to take a point off because I hate it, but you know, I get it. I loved it. Even though there's a pregnancy trope within this, I loved it. Even if the main characters struggled to communicate with each other, I loved it. It was an excellent romance to pick me up and cheer me up after one of the fucking hardest books that I've read this month. My totals are 68 out of 70, which is 9.71, and not my first 5-star review for this year, but my first like 5-star that I'm giving its like entire dedicated review to. My first 5-star that you've seen in these new videos that I'm putting out. So it was a 5 for me. It was a 5. I can't believe it. I, to date, have literally only given one other romance 5 stars, and that was You Again by Kate Goldbeck, and I stand by that decision. This one's a 5 also. I loved it. When I tell you that I genuinely cried reading this book, I just feel like if I cry, it should get 5 automatically, you know? Anyway, I could sit here and talk about it all day, but I'm gonna go. If you like the video, feel free to leave me a like. Let me know in the comments down below. How do you feel when you see references to social media in books? Because like this one references TikTok, it references Instagram. Does it put you off of reading the book? I'm really curious to know, because for me, I do fine, but like, how are you when it comes to things like that? If you are new here and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. It is, after all, free for you, fun for me. Otherwise, I will see you all very soon. Goodbye.